Right now, at this very moment, millions of people across Leyte, Cebu, and Bohol are living their worst nightmare. A powerful typhoon has just made landfall following the exact same path as Super Typhoon Yolanda, the deadliest storm in Philippine history that killed over 6,300 people in 2013. Typhoon Tino, internationally known as Kalmaegi, slammed into Silago, southern Leyte, at midnight on November 4, 2025. The same communities devastated 12 years ago are being hit again. 156,000 people have been evacuated. Many of them are Yolanda survivors who never thought they'd have to relive this terror. Pagasa has confirmed it. Tino is following Yolanda's track with frightening precision. But here's what every news outlet is not telling you. And it's the most important thing you need to know right now. Is Typhoon Tino actually another Yolanda? The answer will surprise you, and it might save lives. Let me show you something that changes everything. Super Typhoon Yolanda in 2013, 315 kilometers per hour sustained winds. That made it one of the strongest landfalling tropical cyclones ever recorded in human history. Typhoon Tino, or Kalmaegi, in 2025, 155 kilometers per hour sustained winds. Do you see what that means? Kalmaegi has less than half the wind speed of Yolanda. In typhoon terms, that's the difference between catastrophic and dangerous. Yolanda was a super typhoon, the highest classification. It was a once-in-a-century monster. Tino is a regular typhoon with signal number 4. That's still extremely dangerous. Gusts up to 205 kilometers per hour that can destroy poorly built homes and uproot trees. But it's fundamentally different from what happened in 2013. And here's the other critical factor. The killer in 2013 wasn't just the wind. It was the storm surge. Yolanda generated storm surges of 5 to 6 meters, waves taller than a 2-story building that swept entire neighborhoods into the sea. That's what killed most of the 6,300 victims. Kalmaegi is forecasting storm surges of 3 meters or more. That's still deadly if you're in coastal areas. That's still enough to flood homes and drown people who don't evacuate. So let me be absolutely clear. Tino is not another Yolanda in terms of raw, destructive power. But it is still a dangerous, life-threatening storm that requires evacuation and preparation. The question is, why are they following the same path? Eastern Visayas faces the Pacific Ocean directly with no geographic protection. It's the first major landmass that typhoons hit after forming in the warm waters east of the Philippines. This region is the highway for Pacific storms. And Leyte Gulf? It's shaped like a funnel. When typhoons enter from the east, that funnel shape amplifies storm surges, pushing massive walls of water into coastal communities. This isn't bad luck. This is geography. The Philippines gets an average of 20 typhoons every single year, more than any other country on Earth. And Eastern Visayas sits directly in the crosshairs of the most common typhoon paths. But here's what's changed. Climate change is making these storms more intense. Since the 1970s, typhoon intensity has increased by 12 to 15%. Ocean temperatures are warmer, storms are stronger. What used to be a major typhoon every 20 years is now happening every 8 to 10 years. The Philippines contributes almost nothing to global emissions, but it's paying the highest price. And the people who understand this best, the survivors who've lived through it before. Ma. Corazon Liberty Ladrera is a mother of 6 from Tacloban. When she heard Typhoon Kalmaegi was coming, she didn't wait for official evacuation orders. She took her family to the Tacloban Astrodome immediately. She told reporters, "We didn't wait for instructions. We don't want what happened during Yolanda to happen again." That one sentence tells you everything about what it's like to live in Eastern Visayas. In 2013, Typhoon Yolanda killed 2,021 people in Tacloban alone. 90% of the city was destroyed. Bodies floated in the streets for days. Survivors climbed into trees to escape rising water. 12 years later, every typhoon warning brings those memories flooding back. But some communities are facing an even worse nightmare. In Bogo City, Cebu, families are living in tent cities after a magnitude 6.9 earthquake struck on September 30th. That earthquake killed 79 people and destroyed thousands of homes. Now, just 5 weeks later, those same families in tents are being evacuated again, this time for Typhoon Tino. 163 families lost everything in the earthquake. Now, they're losing their temporary shelters to a typhoon. Neighbors have launched an Adopt a Family program, taking tent families into their own homes to ride out the storm. These families have lost everything twice in 5 weeks. Even though Kalmaegi isn't as powerful as Yolanda, even though the wind speeds are half, for these communities, every typhoon is trauma. Every evacuation is terror. You can't tell someone who watched their neighbors drown in 2013 that this storm is only half as strong. To them, it's still a typhoon. It's still deadly, and they're still right in its path. So has anything improved since 2013? Yes. The Philippines learned hard lessons from Yolanda, and some things have genuinely gotten better. Early warning systems. In 2013, there was confusion about storm surge terminology. Many people didn't understand what it meant until it was too late. Today, PAGASA issues clear warnings 2 to 3 days in advance, and storm surge is a widely understood term. Mandatory evacuations. 156,000 people were evacuated before Tino made landfall. That's systematic, organized disaster response. Infrastructure improvements. Tacloban is building a 27.3-kilometer storm wall designed to protect against future surges. It's not complete yet, but it's progress. Disaster preparedness. 2.1 million family food packs were prepositioned across the country. The NDRRMC went on red alert 48 hours before landfall. Mental health services. Eastern Visayas now has integrated mental health support for disaster survivors, recognizing that trauma is as real as physical damage.
But here's the hard truth. Many families are still living in substandard housing built after Yolanda, homes that won't survive Signal 4 winds. Climate change is accelerating typhoon intensity faster than infrastructure can adapt. Poverty limits evacuation options. Some families have nowhere to go. And cascading disasters are exhausting communities. Before Kalmaegi, there was Typhoon Christine and Typhoon Leon, and that September earthquake in Cebu. The Philippines has learned. Communities are better prepared than they were in 2013. But they're still fundamentally vulnerable, because you can't evacuate geography. You can't rebuild your way out of being in the direct path of 20 typhoons every single year. Resilience has limits. So where is Typhoon Tino right now? And what's happening on the ground? Kalmaegi made landfall in Silago, southern Leyte, at exactly midnight on November 4th, 2025. 155 kilometers per hour sustained winds. Gusts up to 205 kilometers per hour.
Signal number 4 is in effect across Cebu City, Tacloban, and parts of Leyte, Bohol, and Dinagat Islands. That means destructive winds are occurring right now. The Dinagat Islands lost all power Monday evening. All 7 towns went dark hours before the typhoon arrived. Imagine evacuating in complete darkness. The Trans-Central Highway in Cebu, the main road across the island, is completely impassable. Fallen trees and power posts have blocked the road. 75 flights have been canceled. Thousands of passengers are stranded in airports. And PAGASA is warning of storm surges exceeding 3 meters in Leyte Gulf and other coastal areas. That's the same deadly phenomenon that killed thousands in 2013. Here's why we don't have more detailed reports yet. Tino made landfall at midnight. Communication networks are down in affected areas. Assessment teams are working in darkness. The full extent of damage won't be clear for another 12 to 24 hours. If you're watching this from Leyte, Cebu, Bohol, or anywhere in Signal 4 areas, if you haven't evacuated from coastal zones, you need to do it now.
Storm surge doesn't care if Kalmaegi is only half as strong as Yolanda. 3 meters of water is still deadly. So why does all of this matter? Why make a video explaining that Tino isn't another Yolanda? Because right now, millions of people are terrified. They're seeing same path as Yolanda in every headline and reliving the worst trauma of their lives.
Some of that fear is justified. This is a dangerous storm, but some of it comes from not understanding the critical differences. This storm is testing everything the Philippines learned from 2013. Better warning systems, organized evacuations, community preparedness. It's revealing the reality of climate change in the Philippines. Eastern Visayas facing major typhoons more frequently, rebuilding again and again, with resilience stretched to its breaking point. And it's highlighting the injustice of it all. The Philippines contributes less than half of 1% of global greenhouse gas emissions, but it's suffering some of the worst impacts of climate change. Typhoon Kalmaegi may not be another Yolanda in raw power. The wind speeds are half. The storm surge is lower. The preparations are better. But for families in evacuation centers tonight, for mothers remembering 2013, for communities rebuilt multiple times only to face storms again and again, it doesn't matter if it's Category 5 or Category 3. It's still their lives, their homes, their livelihoods, all in the path of destruction. The Philippines has shown incredible resilience since 2013. Communities have rebuilt, systems have improved, people endure. Let's hope those improvements are enough. Let's hope Tino passes quickly with minimal loss of life. Stay informed. Monitor Pagasa bulletins at pagasa.daost.gov.ph. If you're in affected areas, heed evacuation orders. Your safety is more important than your property. If you want to help, donate to the Philippine Red Cross or DSWD, legitimate organizations that will get aid to those who need it. And remember, Tino isn't another Yolanda, but it's still a dangerous storm. And Eastern Visayas still needs our attention, our support, and our understanding. I'm Beneath the Depths. Subscribe for more explanations of natural disasters, the science behind them, and why they happen where they do. Stay safe, Philippines.